Let me start by saying the obvious or stating the obvious that crypto is no longer a fringe asset. It has not only got mainstream adoption, but it's also hogging limelight, especially as far as the public discourse is concerned. If you look at the recent developments at World Economic Forum Davos Summit, crypto was there, and it also gave a message that crypto has arrived. Now, what has happened is some of the regulators or some of people from the financial space, they are dismissive of crypto as compared to the ones who are forward-looking and looking at how they can regulate and embrace this new form of decentralized commerce. So, given this particular backdrop, I would like to start today's conversation on crypto and start with Medha first and get her views on what is the discourse around crypto and how we can position our country as a global fintech hub. Because if you look at other geographies, let's say Dubai for that matter, right? So Dubai already has a virtual asset regulatory authority and they want to position their country as global crypto hub. Similarly in UK as well. In UK, Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, also announced that he wants to position UK as a global crypto hub. So where do we stand? And are we going to play second fiddle in this space? What is the way forward? Medha, your thoughts, please.
I'm really happy to be able to share our point of view on what exactly is the state of mind in India when it comes to crypto. And most of us are probably going to wake up with this subject matter because we've recently seen a lot of noise around what can be the issues if you are trying to be innovative in the crypto space and the nuances that you end up facing. But I think to get back to the point of India 2.0 vision, right? The $5 trillion economy that we are trying to aim towards, there's a roadmap of reforms that is required. And in that space, all of us, what we spoke today, we talked about our products, we talked about the various problems that we face. We all have to work in tandem and in collaboration, not just with each other, but globally as well, to kind of solve for these issues that are probably like sustaining for a very long time, but needs change, right? And crypto does have the opportunity as well as the challenges, just similar way that internet actually had posed a threat to the way we interact with each other, right? So coming back to the fact that some of the problems of poverty that we see, that we can solve is through job creations and high income, right? And in that process, I think entrepreneurs who are coming up with their own ideas, marketing ideas, they convert them into products and they have the opportunity to provide a lot of employment with good paid jobs for various people in the country, right? And governance is what? Trying to enable the environment so that there's a framework where these entrepreneurs can thrive and at least sort of have the space for experimentation to be able to succeed or fail and accordingly take the growth forward. So given the scenario, what we face is that the challenge of the regulatory climate in India, be it any kind of innovation, we always kind of have a very reserved and conservative approach towards it. And having said that, banking access has been controversial in terms of, empowering people, but there are limited access to uneducated, unbanked people as well. So how do you create a solution which reaches every individual without having the burden of, various sort of financial issues which comes with, like, you need to have a collateral, you need to have certain language efficiency to be able to speak to an organization to give you loans. And India has always had the opportunity whenever there's a difficult point, and pandemic has probably expedited the process of more innovation coming into the space. We have the liberty to kind of take informed decisions about our own financial planning and journey, right? And it's about being able to progress with those thoughts with the right kind of mindset. I myself have been working for comms for over 8 years. I would suggest that in terms of branding for crypto, probably we want to take a step back and not be so out there to promote crypto till the time we really have some clarity in the regulatory framework. However, mindfully, if we go about it, we can also talk about in terms of the investor protection and the security and the privacy risks that we need to combat and inform our audience about what are the opportunities for them to expand or, diversify their portfolio. So having said that, India does have an opportunity and edge over kind of creating those avenues for people to get into this space. But there's a long journey to kind of succeed in terms of understanding the nuances, working in tandem with various stakeholders to take this vision forward. At KuCoin, probably a lot of few people have had the chance to know various exchanges in the world. We are the top 5 exchanges who are actually trusted enough to, be able to open their own venture arm and their labs that talks about globally what's been the adoption rate in various countries. Like Brazil has one report which talks about 53% of them actually consider crypto as a reliable storage for value. So in terms of understanding nuances, which markets are more pro to adopting these sort of innovation and taking those learnings, we'll have to figure out a way to collaborate with each other and understand the opportunities as well as the challenges to fight these things. So, I mean, that's my point in terms of overview of what I feel, but furthermore, I'll probably elaborate.
Thanks, Medha. Now, coming to Jayaram. So Jayaram as a wealth tech platform, how do you see the adoption of crypto for your clients? Right. So if you can maybe explain on that.
Start with to let you know something about Moola. Moola is a independent wealth tech platform. So today, I think a lot of people think wealth is only for HNIs or ultra HNIs, and so people need, I think, kind of a wealth advisory even for, I think, a larger, I would say, audience as such, and that's the idea behind Moola. So today we have a plethora of products. People typically know, I think, a handful of, I would just say, asset classes like either they go for fixed deposit or mutual funds or equity. We can have access to bonds, and we can have access to REITs, InvITs, crypto. So to get I think, a good understanding of what are the different asset classes and how you can manage your wealth. And it's very important, particularly when it comes to crypto. Like people need to, I think, first understand what crypto is all about. And before jumping into that, so kind of an approach, at least people in India just take it. Last year when the IPL was going around, so many advertisements were going about crypto. And the message was, say, kuch to badla hai, say, go and invest. So we need to first understand as to what somebody is just doing by getting into an asset class like crypto. So either we are, I think, too optimistic and then jump into that without thinking, or on the other side, we just get too pessimistic and not go near that at all. So we need to, I think, take a kind of informed approach. So that's where I think companies like Moola come into play, where we help you to understand that asset class and then say as to what are the opportunities it just throws to you, and how one can then use that asset class and then manage your overall portfolio as well.
Thanks, Jayaram. And I think you rightly pointed out the importance of literacy around this new asset class, the education. People should understand what this is all about rather than jumping into it straight away. Now, let me go to Advit and get your views on, as a crypto lending platform, right? What kind of investors are coming to your platform, and why crypto as an asset class is better, or how is it positioned as compared to traditional financial assets, given we are facing decade high inflation in US, and if you look at India, the current inflation figures are 17-month high. So how does crypto come into picture, and how does it helps investors diversify their assets?
Sure, thank you. Hi everyone. So first, one of the things that we had was, I had a question that who's the audience? I don't really understand the audience, right? Are you guys investors in crypto? Are you guys startups? How many of you are investors in crypto? 5, 6, 10 people maybe. How many of you have tried to put in money in crypto ever? You guys, of course, no one else. How many of you are startups? Yeah, here. Startups, okay. And how many of you are from corporates? Okay. Majority corporates, then startups, and then crypto, right? Great. So you would have seen a lot of, that's just for my understanding, right? Who am I talking to? I was just trying to understand who am I talking to, right? So if you look at crypto, there are a couple of things that happened in the past which I believe were wrong, right? And they need to be corrected. The first is cryptocurrency. So everyone thinks of crypto and currency together, but they're very, very different, right? Crypto is not replacing currency. Crypto is an asset, right? Just like you have gold as an asset, you have assets. if you look at, otherwise, there are close to 20,000 cryptocurrencies out there, different tokens, different projects. So what we need to understand is why do they exist? Right? They exist because of a particular reason. Somebody is, for example, creating a token so that they can give that token to their customers as loyalty points. That is also a crypto. That is also a token. That is also a project. Somebody is creating a project so that they create a protocol, and on top of that, lot of tech platforms can evolve. So just like in Web 2.0, you guys had, let's say, a platform where you could build any number of websites. Does anyone know of a platform where I can just go and create a website? Anyone? Which one? Even before GoDaddy is, yes, that's a good example, but even before GoDaddy. Sorry? Yeah, think of WordPress, the first one, right? Where anyone can go and create a website. GoDaddy's essentially first main job is to sell a domain, and then they also assist in website. So there are tokens for that purpose, where they will create a technology protocol, and anyone can create technology projects on that, blockchain projects on that, tokens on that, and so on and so forth, right? So first thing, cryptocurrency, very, very different things. Don't relate them. That is something that happened because of whoever created that particular term. Very different things. Crypto is, there's a lot of tech, there's a lot of tokens, a lot of protocols, a lot of use cases. One huge use case that is coming up is NFTs. Again, at a very, very nascent stage, it is done in the right way. But NFT will probably become very important in the metaverse. Second wrong thing that happened in crypto was that everyone thought that, this is that quick scheme where I can become a billionaire overnight. Right? So the way it was promoted in the past, and I'm talking about maybe 3, 4, 5 years, but that is how it started. So that's why people think that that is what crypto is. Crypto is very, very different. So coming to the question, now there's something called crypto lending, which is very similar to earning interest rate on your asset. So for example, you guys hold money in your bank, you guys hold a house, you have a property, you have any asset, and you earn interest out of it. In a fixed deposit, you will earn interest. On a house, you will earn interest probably, or you will get it on rent and so on. So crypto lending is same thing. Crypto lending is that today, for example, you hold any token, say of 1,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, and whatever the amount is, you can earn interest on that if you don't want to sell it. You can earn, the range is long, right? Depending on the token. It ranges from 1% to 40% to 80% and so on and so forth. But whatever you think is the right token for you, wherever you believe in that project, you believe in that token. If you are from finance and you read about DeFi, which is decentralized finance, and if you believe that this particular token or this particular project is great for me, that's where you take that token, hold that token, and earn interest on it. So that is another thing called crypto lending, and that is what we as a company are into, which is called Vauld. It's a global company. But my idea is not to promote the company. My idea is to educate all of you and tell you that currency is very different. Crypto is very different. Tokens, projects, and Web3 is very, very different. Right? So that's what I just want to communicate.
Thanks, Advit. Very beautifully explained all the terms and concepts. Now let me come to Anand. So Anand, being a legal expert, can you also help us understand what is the regulatory outlook for blockchain and cryptocurrency in India? How are you positioned, and if you can also throw some light on the taxation part as well? Is that stifling innovation, or how is it impacting?
Thank you. It's great to be here. So I think if I had to define the regulatory outlook towards crypto in one word, that would simply be uncertainty. Because the problem here is not just about whether the approach is really, say, narrow or really stifling the innovation. The biggest problem is that there is hardly any certainty. Of course, people would refer to that now we have some certainty, at least say with respect to tax. But that is not really certainty in terms of the legality of the whole ecosystem. Because imposing tax, at least in India, does not really refer, or say bestow legality on that ecosystem. So even today, the projects which are building, they don't really know whether crypto will tomorrow be legalized or will the government totally ban it. So that is the biggest problem. The second problem that I see is, from the side of the regulators and the government, there have been, like instances where it has been repeatedly highlighted that there is a problem of, say, anti-money laundering and terror financing in crypto. And because of these concerns, they are not really able to decide. Now, that is again something that I don't completely agree, because in my limited understanding, I don't think, terrorists or, any criminal for that matter, have any technological preference. They don't care about what is the medium of technology that they use, right? So, they have plundered villages initially. They have, kind of broken into the houses. They have robbed banks and, just stolen the physical money. Now they are also sending you phishing emails, trying to hack your, internet banking passwords. And these are the same people who also try to steal your money from your decentralized wallets or MetaMask or anything. So I don't really think that the terror financing has increased at the advent of cryptocurrency, because I don't think they have any technological preference as such. With respect to tax, I understand that government is not really against blockchain as such, and just last year they have also issued the national blockchain policy, and you also contributed there, sir. So I think in terms of blockchain, they are clear, they want to promote, they understand the technology, they understand the kind of use cases that can be there using the blockchain technology. It's just that cryptocurrency, they have not really decided, and they have also explicitly admitted that they need more time to kind of, come to a decision about what to do with respect to cryptocurrency. The taxation provision is certainly to some extent regressive. It is also not, not really reasonable, so to say. But one way to look at the crypto taxation provision is also that probably it's a policy tool. Okay? It's a policy tool to disincentivize investors to go into this space about which the government is not really sure. So probably till the time that they really want to take a call and decide whether I want to regulate it or say ban it totally, they have imposed an unreasonable tax regime so that people would be disincentivized, so that not too many people actually enter their space. So this is how I look at the overall regulatory scenario right now. Just a lot of uncertainty, and we hope that at least we get some certainty. It's not about whether the government decides to ban it or legalize it, but it's actually the certainty that the whole ecosystem is looking at.
And it's also important to acknowledge that, if you're losing time in regulating it, then again, we end up playing second fiddle to countries which are positioning themselves as global crypto hub. Now, let me come to Medha again and get her views on what is the role of exchange in the emerging Web3 ecosystem, and given the bear market, are exchanges looking at investments in startups which are creating enabling infrastructure for Web3 space?
I think that's a great question, and I think that's on everybody's mind, like what exchanges do plan. But the important thing to understand in market fluctuations, and these things are pretty natural and normal in any given sector, right? Having said that, I think, like previously some of the speakers have also highlighted that it's not a quick rich get scheme. They're there for the long run. And there are fundamentals of every crypto projects that needs to be studied, their coding or whatever is required, there needs to be proper auditing done before you end up investing in any of the projects. So at KuCoin, we have something called the KuCoin Ventures, where we are trying to incubate as well as strategically help every startup or a group of people who have their project ideas in Web3 space or GameFi or DeFi space, so that they get the support that they need to accomplish their project end to end. And in that journey, what is important to notice is that seeing the vision and kind of the intent of the team who's trying to build a particular product. And in this space, we see a lot of projects which are probably not going to float. And investing in those kind of assets or probably projects might be a little foolish. And mostly people are into FOMO when they're kind of getting into investment mode with crypto, right? And that's where we get into a problem, because when people lose out on money, which happened very recently, people lose their plot. And then that happens to reflect on exchanges who list them. And so listing of tokens are also a big challenge because the exchanges, the centralized exchanges, there's a difference between centralized and decentralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges are actually accountable for the funds that are there on your crypto wallet. So in that scenario, they are supposed to basically be the bridge between you, the user, as well as the crypto projects. So they help you enhance that kind of experience to ensure that your funds are safe. Even if there's a hack in a centralized exchange, there has to be proper measures of which the brand takes accountability of at least ensuring the communication channels are open and you get your funds back. So those are instances that have happened quite a few times, and it has shown that which exchange or probably can be trusted. So those are the ways in which you can probably figure out like the responsibility, accountability an exchange takes. And my personal journey, I was with WazirX before this. So I started off with the transparency report, which is basically the accountability of what are our KYC policies, do we have a partner to check on our AML policies, and how are we kind of streamlining the process for our users, and what are the nature of these kind of scams that are happening, if there are any government notices that we are getting, what are the kind of issues that they're facing, how about we keep that communication channel open. The onus lies on us to do our own research, to be able to trust an exchange where we see, do they have withdrawal feature? Do they even have a security where they have their funds in the cold wallet or their hot wallet? So there are some stuff which are fundamental in nature, which every user needs to understand, and understand the accountability in their terms and condition of these exchanges as well. So that's where I think I would.
Okay, thanks, Medha. So we have a couple of minutes left. So I would like to start with Jayaram. And what's your closing remarks for session? What is the way forward for crypto in India? What do you think?
I think it's very interesting asset class, and like any other asset class, like we are now referring to. So these are more than, I think, coins or currencies. So one need to do a detailed research, and that's why I think it's important. Like it's very difficult for an individual to just go and do a deep dive on every asset class and then get an understanding to build, I think, a good portfolio for oneself. So it's important for you to, I think, depend on some financial advisors who knows the subject, who can get into the details and then understand your context and then advise you on what I think, what is the right thing for you to do. So that's, I think, really important, not to just have the kind of a FOMO, or on the other side, getting into big fear of not getting into something.
Thanks, Jayaram. So Advit, what's your view on what's the way forward for crypto in India, and what would you advise to investors who are sitting on fringes and they want to tap into crypto? What is the way forward?
Sure. So if you're an investor and if you, I mean, it's up to you whether you believe in crypto or not, right? But what I would suggest is definitely do your research, understand how people are investing in crypto. Don't approach it from a trading perspective or from a quick money getting perspective. That is not the way to approach it. Approach it through either an expert. There are companies who suggest, or approach it through someone who knows where to invest and how to invest. Invest in crypto that way. Invest for long term, and be careful. There are thousands, 20,000 tokens out there, right? Don't go for quick money. Don't depend that, okay, this coin is giving me 50%, 80%, 100% returns in a year. It might be a good project and still give it, but just approach it just like you invest in a stock market, right? When you go in stock market, you choose the companies very carefully. Now, most of the people will also fall for FOMO. They will fall for, the brand name. They will fall for hype and all of that. That is not how good investors will invest their money. The returns are definitely higher in crypto, but you still want to first of all ensure that the project will not go bust. So be careful. What I would suggest is start with reading, understanding a lot. Right now, most of the audience does not even understand, 2 or 3 coins, right? There are 20,000 plus coins. So first of all, understand why does that token exist? What is the purpose of it? Who are the investors? How many people have already invested in that project? who are the people who have funded that particular project. So have 6-7 parameters by which you'll analyze that, okay, this is a good token or this is a good project. Once you've done that, then and only then you are capable of investing. Then you can choose your top tokens. And after you choose your top tokens, go to a platform which you trust. Now there are thousands of platforms also where you can invest, right? There also you have to check who are the founders, what is the credibility, which are the ventures who have invested in them, and then invest your money into crypto, and then use that crypto to earn interest for the long run. That is the right way of doing it.
Thanks, Advit. Anand, your closing remarks on how you can stay compliant. We are running out of time, so maybe quickly if you can summarize.
Sure. So I think I have already covered the slide where I talked about what does the industry expect from the government. But I think it's also important to understand what is, what are those 1 or 2 changes that the industry also needs to drive and, like bring. And one change that I can really think of is firstly, focus more on what is the technological infrastructure that the industry is building. What is that innovation that we are bringing on the table? Not talk too much about, don't portray yourself as, a new kind of sector for investment. And second would be that the whole industry needs to support regulation because, the ecosystem needs to be regulated for the sake of itself. Otherwise, you cannot really weed out all the problematic projects which are coming up. And no one can deny that there are so many, Ponzi schemes and new tokens which do not have any utility. It needs to be regulated. The industry needs to support regulation for its own sake.
Thanks, Anand. Thanks all the speakers for sharing their insights. So my closing thought would be, do your own research, and there's a lot of self-regulation which is incumbent upon crypto players and crypto ecosystem so that we take care of the bad elements and promote the right ones. Thank you, everyone.